when you bought the car, you mentioned it was a running, driving car. Did you expect it to be this involved, or?
I expected it to be like a 6-month process from when I bought it. That didn't happen.
So we're here with this beautiful 1976 BMW 2002, and it looks like it just came back from the shop. For as fresh and clean and pretty as it is, it came out of this house, where Casey and several of his friends put it together using tools from family members, tools that they had, tools that they made, and even a stump. Let's find out how he put it together.
BMWs like the 2002 were the fun little cars that helped solidify BMW's place in history as the ultimate driving machine. There are few more enviable places on Earth than inside a 2002's wide-open greenhouse, revving its M10 2-liter inline-4 with joy. It's light, it's nimble, it has 3 pedals, it's everything you want in a classic car. When Casey finally bought his piece of Bavarian driving nirvana, it wasn't quite as it seemed on the Craigslist ad. It needed a lot more work. But you don't give up on a car this good. Casey's BMW soon earned the name Clausewitz von Struggle, as he struggled to use whatever he could, from old Volvo parts welded together to tools that had been in the family for a while, to put the 2002 back together the right way, all in his home garage.
So this is your first 2002, is it your first BMW, or?
It's not my first BMW.
What makes this one special?
Well, this is the first one I've done from top to bottom all by myself. You know, stripped it down to nothing, took all the paint off of it, found lots of things that I had to fix more than I thought. Lots of rust that didn't see from underneath the undercoating. Lots of dents that couldn't see from behind paint. But when you strip a car all the way down to nothing, you see everything.
Where did you find the car and the engine and everything for this?
I was just browsing Craigslist for BMWs one day, as one that likes to buy cars does. Went and looked at the car, took it for an hour-and-a-half test drive. A week later, I purchased the car, drove it once, and then started ripping it apart.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, this will be a quick project. Nope, 2 years later.
I would imagine, what does this thing weigh?
I haven't weighed it yet since taking everything out,
Yeah?
but like stock is like 2,400.
Yeah,
So it might be around 21,
it's like a blast. I mean, how much horsepower do you think it has?
maybe 100.
Maybe 100? That's all you need.
Yeah,
Something this light.
for go-karting around.
Yeah. Walk us through the steps of building this car.
Well, we started, tearing it down. So pretty much just stripped all the big pieces off, took the seats out, took the hood and trunk off, taken a little bit of the interior out because we knew we had to replace the floors. I think the last thing we took out was the engine and the wiring harness. Like body work was like 3-4 months, just because there was just so many dents and stuff that we had to hammer out with hammers and dollies. Everything's been touched in the car.
This does not look like a 1970s engine. It looks new, it's pretty, it's way too clean. This is my excuse for being lazy. Like, I always leave all the oil as a protective layer. This doesn't have the protective sheen of oil and grime on it. It's gorgeous.
It really hasn't had the chance to get the oil and grime on it. It's a real easy engine to work on too, because you can strip it down and put it back together in 4 to 5 hours. I assembled the entire engine on the stand then, so we had the car lifted up properly. This was about that tall. And then we put the engine underneath it and dropped it in.
I mean, that's the beauty of these kind of simpler old cars, is basically the only thing you had to send out was the machine work.
Yeah.
One of the most wonderful things about this build is the extent to which Casey and his friends made do with whatever was available to completely restore it. Casey's home, for example, was built by his great-grandfather and had been in the family ever since. Some of the tools have stuck with it. The new camo door cards, for example, were sewn on a 1920s Singer industrial sewing machine that came from Casey's aunt's mother, who got it when a local bag factory closed down. But even more amusing are all the Homebuilt parts they improvised to get the car done however they could. After all, anything solid can be a metal shaping tool if you really believe deep down in your heart and have enough hammers.
You mentioned having to make a lot of parts because they're not things that you can just buy anymore. You kind of have to figure it out and do it yourself, especially with the metal work.
The first thing we built was a tipping rig where you could flip the car onto the side to get all the undercoating off the side, do the bottom work. A lot of random tools. We do have the bushing tool. It fits perfectly in there of all the bushings on the front end of the car. So you get good leverage on it. And then there's also the Swedish bushing tool. And we had to makeshift a rod onto the end of one of these to get more leverage on it. So this is just a big C-clamp with a stuff welded onto it.
Tell us about the color. Why this gorgeous blue?
I drove by a BMW dealership and I saw a Yas Marina blue M4. And I kind of looked at it for a while. I Googled some pictures of it. I was like, I like that color. I think it would look really good on the car because in certain sunlights it looks like the old Ford or a Fjord blue.
The spoiler's really cool. Like, that's kind of a rare part, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hard to find. It's a Zender rear deck spoiler. They came on the original BMW 2002s. I put a lot of work into cleaning it. Lots of cleaner on it, lots of the different back to black rubber restoring stuff.
Yeah, I'm used to seeing all the hard rubber bits like this just annihilated by sunlight and age, so.
It was well taken care of before I got it.
This has to be my favorite tool that we have come across on one of these episodes so far. This was for metal shaping, right?
Yep, metal shaping stump. Got a little anvil right there. Got a hole in the center for creating custom metal panels for inside of the car.
And it had just the right shape for some of the pieces.
Yeah, the rear floor panel that didn't need an entire sheet, but it just needed, a patch panel about that big.
Show us your paint room. The super high-tech paint booth.
Yes. We sealed up this entire area with plastic air filters and exhaust and intake fans. And then we had 5K lighting, so we get really good coverage on everything so we can see it. But now we're over to metalworking mode and on the second car. Built a cart for the bottom of it, off of people that we've met on Instagram. They built similar carts.
You said you built this too?
Yeah, this is a sandblasting box. Sandblast parts and things in it. We'll see if it works.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So what are your future plans with the car? I mean,
the next thing is a center console. So I actually have a spot to permanently mount the gauges and hazard switch and maybe put a radio in it.
Those are nice.
Yeah,
it
sometimes.
sounds good, but
it sounds really nice, so I'd rather just hear the car.